how do you go about finding the dope musicians for your show? Because I'll be seeing clips and seeing stuff people I'm like, yo, these cats are dope.
Yeah,
you don't be missing, bro.
I appreciate
like these
that.
dudes are dope. I'll be listening. I'll be like, you promote who's on the show, and I'll click on the Instagram, listen to some of the clips. I'll be like,
yeah, you can't hate. Yeah,
I'll be like,
yeah, okay.
Nah, one thing I'm not. I'm
you never gonna hate, but I'm just saying, people just kind of like,
because a lot of artists hate on other artists. Like, you know,
for
what I mean?
sure. I mean, but there's been people who have the people I use. Sometimes their music sent to me, and I'm like, because the way it's like, oh, this is my friend who did it, and I'm like, okay, we'll see. Some people are just trying to put their friends on, and then I click on it, and I'm like, this shit is hot.
Right.
You know, this is. So when I say I can't even hate, I just say that sometimes. Like, I can't even hate on it. Like, this is hot.
Like, this is dope.
Yeah. So some of them are nice surprises, but it really started as who I'm around. So the first show we were supposed to have Tia Corinne. That was the idea. Who was coming out of North Carolina, because we had shot a music video, like 2 of them back to back, like a couple years ago, and the idea was that, and then life happens, and then okay, cool, and then she was supposed to do show 1. And she had a tear in her vocal throat. I think she had to get surgery. So it was like, okay, who do I know? And that parlayed us into Loot, which was like a friend of a friend of a friend kind of thing. When we had met before, we were in the same city, so we kind of recognized each other, but it was still an easy layup there. But once Loot was the foundation, I wanted a recognizable enough name or someone on the rise that was just going to get some attention. And like, all right, now let's lean into what does North Carolina have to offer. And like I said, I lean into music. I'm a lover of music. The past, I guess, 5 years, I've really been hanging out with some musicians in North Carolina. There was a group out of Greensboro, Winston-Salem area called Steady Hype. I was like seeing them every other week, and I was like, all of you are booked when it's time to run the show. You know what I mean? And slowly I've either used some of their music or have extended the brand to them as well. And if not, it's still going to extend. You know, so I've just been lucky enough to know some dope musicians and have people who are friends of friends but dope musicians, because Carolina's full of talent. Sometimes I just go to shows, like small, like bar shows, and just kind of hang around and be like, okay, no, that's fire what you just did there. Come talk with us. Come rock with us. And then it ends up just being one of those deals.
That's dope, man. You're going to the ground roots to find talent,
A little bit.
which a lot of people don't
want to do. Well, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's just a good point to make there. I heard Issa Rae say sometimes everyone's trying to network up, and they get so upset when the up doesn't want to pull them up, and they just hate at it. But that means you just got to network across,
bruh.
So I got to just like lean
talk about it.
Me. Yeah,
talk about it.
Yeah,
that's the thing that people. Let's dive into that real quick. You made a great point. That's the one thing I always tell people. Everybody just wants to do this all the time.
Yeah,
and it's like, nah. Sometimes you just have to network here. Sometimes you got to pull somebody up
1,000.
because they're better for that position
1,000.
or that situation. You pull somebody up or across. And then eventually everybody goes up. Sometimes 2 people goes up in the connection. Sometimes that level across can bring you up to something else, because if you keep shooting up, sometimes it's not meant for that door at that time. Don't mean you're not going to get through it,
100.
but it's just a way you have to go about it. Sometimes I always tell people this in networking, and people live on Teasy, I'm going to look directly in the camera when I say this. You have to stop going for the general all the times and work with the soldiers. If you work with all the soldiers, you will get to the general. It's just natural life how it happens. If you work with all the soldiers and you have 7 people speaking for you, you're going to meet the general. Instead of just trying to push past the soldiers, where the general at? It doesn't. A lot of times it don't work that way. You have to network. Like if I wanted to, like how I got to Music Soul Child, I'd have started networking with people around them. Eventually, music, okay,
easy.
I rock with you.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people you have to work around. I'm just using that example of somebody who's at that high level of how
That's real.
I was able to work with somebody like that. It's just being able to work around. And that's a good point you said that, because with you going into the grassroots of the, like, kind of like you're doing the A&R thing. You're A&R'ing.
Basically, I mean, well, you know, Ashe is not supposed to just be a wrestling promotion. That's what people are kind of. I mean, it's sneaky backdoor the way I've done this, but it's going to be bigger. It's going to be more things. We're about to launch a couple of new branches in the next couple of months that people will see. I think it's small but big steps at the same time. I wanted to be kind of an A&R. I wanted to be kind of, hey, this is what's hot, and if you know to come to Ashe for what's hot, then Ashe is going to be hot, and that's always the kind of mind of it. It was something you said, and it hit my brain, and then it kind of left just right there. But oh yeah, good example. We were contacted, headed into the first show by Rollywood, this collective out of Raleigh, North Carolina, and they were just kind of just a hub of creators, about 4 or 5 of them, and they were like, "Yo, we're throwing an event that's wrestling themed, we're throwing an event that's wrestling themed, and it's a concert, and it's gonna be fire, and we see your brand, and it's actually like wrestling but fly, so we're like, let's work together, you know what I mean? Like, let's do it." And I'm like, "We ain't even done our first show yet, but we'll rock with you." So we met up and we did like a skit where we were teaching them how to do like wrestling moves or whatever. We're supposed to be teaching them how to wrestle and for the concert. And one of the guys is there's a lot of talented dudes. Joshua Raw, Les the Genius, Ricky Ricardo. But one of the guys, his name was Ruben Vincent. And Ruben Vincent,
he's dope.
Yeah.
He's fire.
At the time, he was Ruben Vincent, but I mean, he was just, we met him. We did that skit in October, November. And then now
he's with Ninth, right?
Yeah, he's with Ninth. Yeah, Ninth and Rhapsody. And now, the other day I saw him on Sway, and I was like, all right, we was ahead of the curve. Let's go, Ruben. And we've been talking about trying to get him in for Ashe show, too. The dates wouldn't line up. We were supposed to try to get him in April, and we just decided to pivot. But we'll probably see him at Ashe more, too. But if you look on the YouTube channel, there's a skit, and Ruben Vince is all in that thing. And so is the rest of the Hollywood clique. And shout out to those guys. Honestly, they're amazing. But, we start there, and that's a cross. And now you never know what someone might be in 2 months. When I filmed that thing with Tia, she didn't have a track with the baby. But 4 months later, she had a track with the baby. And then she was at Rolling Loud. And then she was, so you can never count anyone out. If you're dope, you're dope. It doesn't matter how many eyes are on you. And you never know who's watching. So that's the thing of like, maybe if I'm watching, maybe I can do something about it. Let's help each other out. That's where it comes from.